This is Open Mic, and we are back to the third segment of our program. And on that score, I now call upon Mrs. Calderon to extend on her advice to us of the challenges and successes she has had during her time of production. Paula.
Just to say that when my husband died some 10 years ago, I actually had to go out to all my suppliers and learn how to make a lot of the products. I felt it was very important for me to know what I was dealing with so that anything that happens in the factory, I have a very good understanding. But I wanted to come back to the point of during the hard economic times, starting from 2009, the manufacturing sector kept all their staff. They also had to keep their staff because it's very difficult and costly to retrain staff. Once you lose them, then you have to spend a lot more money.
There's a cost.
Yes, there's a cost. So it's better to keep them rather than let them go. And that is something that at least that particular sector has maintained their staff. And as was being discussed just now with regard to your standards at your quarry and so forth, standards are becoming a very important issue. We have to make sure that we have quality products. If my company had products that lasted 5 months and 6 months, I wouldn't be in business because people would be complaining. But when you have the quality products, you know for instance it is going to last you X number of years, and people appreciate that. The Chinese issue with the cheap things, well, we have that to deal with, but people don't understand. You have to buy, by the time you buy 3 of those things for a year, you've already bought 1 of something of a quality.
Correct.
So it's an attitudinal issue. What we need to look at, although I import a lot of my products, and we don't have anything made in St. Lucia that I can use, whether it's wood for wood blinds or within the region, because we have tried to source it. There are a lot of things that we can do in manufacturing. For instance, bamboo is a big product. We are not doing anything with bamboo. Okay? If you grow enough bamboo, you can make all sorts of furniture, you can make...
Just one question to you,
Yeah.
Paula.
Yeah.
Doesn't bamboo bring a lot of termites or powdery stuff?
It's treated. You can treat bamboo.
Oh, okay, good.
You can treat bamboo.
Okay.
But that's a big industry. If you go on the net and you look at it, it's a very, very big industry.
Okay.
And it's a growing industry. You can
And
make
it's something
vases.
that can be
and
grown quite easily here.
very easily.
Okay.
So some of the things that we have to look at in terms of manufacturing is what can we find in St. Lucia that we can use to our benefit, and that we have not done, that we need to look to. Also, what companies do we want to bring into St. Lucia that not necessarily will compete with everybody, but is something new and innovative? Think of something, whether it's solar panels. So bring in a company that makes solar panels, make it accessible to all of us, make it cheap for all of us. LED lights, that's the in thing. Why can't we get companies? Invest St. Lucia needs to go out and search for these companies and bring them in rather than wait. And I think they are changing their modus operandi, and that's something that was happening. With manufacturing, I must say that in the last couple of months we got Article 164 passed, so government has assisted us in that way. They have redone all incentives. They're now giving us the 15 years incentives. If we don't get those incentives, we won't be able to pick up from where we have fallen over the last 5 years. I had said that it's going to take 5 years before we see a change in the shift of the economy. It's 5 years now, and we're still not seeing it. So it might be a 6th year.
But that changes, that's because of the recession.
That's because of the recession, yeah. That's because of the recession.
Which is difficult to blame any government for, because it's a worldwide recession.
Yeah, you can't at all. You can't blame the recession.
The only thing I feel is that, administrations need to recognize the fact they have to make their own prognosis as to how much longer, because that's what they're there for. Yeah. They're our leaders. They're supposed to focus on and be abreast with the economic situation in the world, and to make that assessment and to come to assist people like you, because you employing, I said how many people you employ?
Right now we used to employ 25, we are down to about 15.
Okay, still 15 people, The statistics show that for every person you employ, you feed 4 people.
But we subcontract now.
There you go. Yeah,
So
okay.
we don't always install all of our products. We've decided now
which
to
is
start,
sensible.
we decided now to start subcontracting
And that's
out.
what Lime does too.
Yeah.
Even though Lime has laid off a lot of people, but there are some very good people. Like
They can form their
like
own
Urban.
businesses.
Yeah.
They can form their own businesses.
I mean,
and use them.
look at a past Lime's pupil who is now employing 70 people. So when Lime lays off 70 or 80 people, Urban has taken up the slack because of what they have taught him, you know. And in your case, it's the same situation. But I'm exceptionally pleased to learn from you today that the Ministry of Commerce and the Customs are putting their best foot forward.
And government has now given us Article 164.
164.
There's
But
only
that's
one
what's important.
Yeah,
You know?
there's only one concern that we as manufacturers now, as the association is. The Prime Minister did mention that manufacturing has gone down by 11.4%.
Yeah.
And we are trying to get an analysis of those statistics. How did that come about? We would like to see how it's done. Because getting statistics in St. Lucia is very difficult. The easiest way is probably through customs. Other areas, you find that you get statistics which vary in the Ministry of Commerce as compared to the Statistical Department, as compared to customs and so forth. So we would like to know how an analysis of this, including an analysis of VAT. What was the intake of VAT?
Right.
How, you know, how is it used, how it's being used, etc.
Now, having heard Paula Urban, and you spoke of the stone situation. Now, I also know you in the poultry business, and that's where you all are similar in some ways because you have to import the feed. So you're now relying on an external source for your business. How has that affected you?
Well, the road in manufacturing and similarly in agriculture has been, a very lonely one. And of late I tell myself, I have begun to realize that whereas you feel there's only one set of footprints, there's someone else helping you. It has practically required divine intervention for this element of our commerce to survive, because no one cares. When Julian came in, decided, and that was in, because of, it's one of the, that was about, what is it, 1992. 92. Yeah, we decided, listen, the opportunities are rising, so let's invest.
Quick question for you, an interesting fact. What do you mean by the opportunities when Julian
Well,
came
you
in?
see, we saw a more professional outfit.
Okay, good.
So likewise, we invested considerably in this business.
As a result of that?
Yes, because, and we realize now you need to now, again, present to the consumer a product that is not in a nylon bag, but in a nylon package.
Correct.
So, but no one. I mean, you go to the banks, they just dismiss you. When we went into this business, it was SLDB then, the first generation SLDB, told us our project was not feasible, that there's a glut of eggs on the market, all of these things. And
can I just stop you for one moment? I just want to ask you one question before I forget. Paula and yourself have indicated the importance of having trained people in your business. Don't you think there should be some trained people in these banking institutions to understand what is going on?
Well,
to become more knowledgeable?
I think, no, you see, sometimes the information is in your face and you cannot say it.
Okay,
so it's not about the issue of training. Just like we mentioned about statistics.
Right.
The statistics are there, but no one to read it.
Okay.
The training is there, but no one is to do the micro-analysis to determine what...
But somebody should push it there.
Precisely.
Yeah.
So we are not rationalizing, we are not thinking. Yeah?
Okay.
We have a knowledge base. But we do not have an innovative and thinking base.
Okay.
Because, I want to make that point, Paula, because you see, we are now at a stage in our history where we are more informed than we've ever been. Knowledge is more easily disseminated now than it's ever been.
Correct.
And we are now appearing more bankrupt with ideas than we've ever been.
Why?
That's the question. Because we believe we know it all.
Okay.
So we're not looking in the mirror and say, what do I need to do? The solutions comes from the individual at all levels.
Got you.
So you need to find out, what do I have to do to make a difference in my community, in
Now,
the
you
difference
use
in
the
my
word
economy?
I.
Yes.
There are not too many urban Wilsons around.
Well-
there are not too many Paula Calderons around. So how do you address the larger community of people wanting to get into your business so we can get that information across to them?
No, I disagree with you.
Yeah, one second.
Yeah, I think we're not creative enough, and we are not reading enough. As you said,
we
as a country, as
Oh,
a
as a country,
people,
okay.
right? We have access to the computer now and everything, and we can find out things that we can do that's so innovative. But what we do is we follow the next person. Somebody sets up this business, they want to set up the same thing because they assume that person is doing well, so they can do well. So they just copycat.
Yeah, I found that. Yeah.
Yes, it's a copycat situation. And earlier on, you were talking, I think, about getting, knowing what it is, knowing, again, the banks, right? The problem, I think, with the banks now, they are not being innovative because they are not going to see their customers. Some of them have never been to your factory. Your bank,
that's what I was saying. Yeah, they need to know what's going on.
They need to go out.
Yeah.
They need to go and see things. And if they do not have something to follow, for instance, if they do not see somebody making a tile out of that particular stone, they're going to say they have nothing to follow to see whether they should lend the person who has come with an innovative idea, whether they've come with money.
I disagree with you to say that there are not many urban Wilsons nor Paula Calderons. Again, it's about the individual. I feel I am no different to any other, but what's different about me, which is the only formula, you ask yourself the questions. You seek, you seek knowledge. So basically, it is a one formula for all. I distinguish myself.
That's what makes you different.
Yeah, well,
that's what makes you different.
Well, you see, but I am not, well, in terms of the method, but we all have equal opportunity, equal access to the same information. The same.
No, but,
but the question I'm asking you,
who motivates you?
Yeah, that's right. Who motivates you?
Well, I'm motivated by God.
Yeah. This is Open Mic. We're closing for another session.